Welcome to the Dangers of Galarian, my fellow adventurer. My name is Model 42 and today, in this new monster guide, I want to tell you a bit about the Titan Centipede and what makes it not only a dangerous adversary, but also what makes it so cool. Let's go. Centipedes are flesh-eating myriapods that skitter with great speed through tunnels, forests, and similar densely packed terrain. Many are small predators, but others are titanic terrors that devour everything in their path. The colossal, solitary, titanic centipedes claim vast hunting grounds, but like all centipedes prefer to eat carrion, gathering in numbers around large corpses or battlefields and jealously guarding their troves of flesh from any who would disturb them. Monstrous centipedes like the titanic one are also aggressive hunters, and are particularly fond of devouring horses and similar creatures, often snatching a mount right out from under its rider. They are unusually stealthy for creatures of their size, making their swift strikes all the more frightening. This level 9 creature is gargantuan in size, is of a neutral alignment like most animals, and has the Dray animal, making it unable to talk and reducing its intelligence by 4. They have decent perception, are very acrobatic and even stronger, as their skills tell you. Their hit points are standard for a creature of their size, but a decent armor class protects those better. It can move and even climb 10 spaces at once, making its attacks even more dangerous. Speaking of, they have 2 standard melee attacks, both with good attack rolls and decent damage. The first, a plus 21 mandibles attack, can poison the target, which we look at later, since that poison is nasty, and its plus 19 foot attack is just normal. It can also use 3 actions to make a trample attack, which allows it to move 20 spaces and move through spaces with creatures of huge or smaller size, dealing the damage from its foot attack to all creatures it trampled through. They are allowed to make a DC 28 reflex save, which gives most heroes a 50-50 shot to influence the damage. It is not a lot of damage, but with the movement speed it can damage all heroes at once, which is amazing against larger groups of heroes. Talking about moving, it can also use the ability, Undulate, for a single action, which allows it to either stride or step through spaces as narrow as 10 feet, which, for a creature that uses a space of 20 feet or more, is pretty useful. Since it does not need to use the squeeze action for that, it just can move through. Very useful to pursue the players, if they decide to run. Now for the cooler stuff. First, let us look at the passive ability, called Impaling Critical, which triggers when the centipede makes a critical hit with its mandibles, because now the target is pierced with barbed spines and bristles, taking 1d6 persistently damage at the end of each of its turn, and then trying to get rid of it with flat DC 15 check, which is a chance of 25%. Even worse than that, as long as the target is under the influence of this condition, it also counts as flat-footed, making it easier to hit. Even worse than that, each mandible attack hit forces the target to make a DC 28 fortitude save, which again, might be a 50-50 shot for tough characters, but many will not have that great of a chance against this. On a fail, they will succumb to the Titan Centipede Venom, which has a maximum duration of 6 rounds or until you saved against Stage 1. Talking about Stage 1, you take 2d6 poison damage and a clumsy 2 for 1 round, reducing all your dexterity-based stuff by 2 points, including your armor class I might add. Should it reach Stage 2, you take 2d8 poison damage, a clumsy 2 for a round and, in addition, also slowed 1 for this time, losing 1 of your actions in the process. The highest stage is 3, dealing 2d10 poison damage, making you clumsy 2 for a round, but also slowed 2 for the duration of this stage. At this point, you pretty much are at the mercy of this monster, since making you easier to hit while taking away actions is a very nasty combination of effects. With its abilities known, what can we do with this giant insect? Most of the times, you will use this beast while the heroes, at least level 6 I should add, are exploring vast caves, the Darklands or giant battlefields and jungles. Whatever you do, always, and I mean always, let the centipede surprise the heroes despite not being trained in stealth and have it strike once, before combat starts. This makes it more scary and impactful, and guaranteeing 1 hit is not that big of a deal in my opinion. To make it even more epic and dangerous, let it ferociously attack the weakest targets first, biting it once and twice, always striding or stepping at least once as well. If the party contains 4 or more heroes, a trample attack every 2 rounds or so seems also kind of cool, unless it can see that its attacks are wearing a target down, and if it should ever poison someone, keep attacking the target until it drops. It still is an animal that hunts, and it will not use tactics once the ambush attack has hit. If you want to add some coolness, how about writing an adventure about a powerful druid, exiled by a town years ago because of either prejudice or her weird experiments, who now has hidden in an old castle ruin or giant cave, raising an army of spiders, centipedes and other horrors to rid the town of its stupid inhabitants. Her prized creature could be an elite titan centipede, maybe even with some class levels in rogue or barbarian, adding to its attacks and hunting skills. She can also ride it as well, which would be an epic picture, especially if you make the centipede unique and its appearance with color schemes, describing how its saliva is weird looking, its antennas are nervously feeling around, or its eyes glow in scary colors in the dark. If you have an adventure with dinosaurs in an ancient jungle, describe a scene where one of these beasts fights and kills a T-Rex in spectacular fashion, setting it up as an apex predator in the area, maybe even guarding a nest of hundreds of eggs that need to be destroyed for a Mwangi tribe nearby, or they will most likely be eradicated once the young centipedes grow up. This is a primitive beast, and though you cannot use it as often, make those encounters count by making them epic and dangerous, maybe even have a pair together, because it is mating season, since 2 of them can be really dangerous. Centipedes in Pathfinder are very cool, though most of us only encountered the giant, dog-sized ones in starting adventures, which is not as cool as one that is as big as a T-Rex. You'll find the Titan Centipede on page 50 of the second bestiary. And now, at the end of this video, I thank you so much for watching and hope you want to see more content like this in the future. Until then, please leave a like, subscribe for more content, and write me a comment what you think about this creature. Do you know what is worse than the clicking of hundreds of tiny feet? The same noise from giant feet that tremble the ground on which you stand on.